Welcome to the Emily the Mystic Show. You're about to walk through a portal that leads to all things mystical, magical, spiritual, and supernatural. I'm your host, Emily. I'm a spiritual mentor, an Akashic Records practitioner and teacher, an intuition development coach, and a galactic channeler. If you're an old soul on a self-discovery and healing journey, you are in the right place. We'll be diving in deep to some of my favorite mystical topics, including manifestation, past lives, the spirit world, energy, and so much more. Get ready to embrace your inner mystic and live your most authentic life possible. The portal is now open. Hello, dear Emily the Mystic Show listener, and welcome to your spooky season, October 2024 energy forecast. There's something about filming an energy forecast for the month of October that is so mystical and fun. So I can't wait to get into it with you today. I don't know about you, but I love this time of the year. I absolutely love the fall season. I love Halloween. I love all of the mystical things that happen at this time of the year. And because this is the Emily the Mystic podcast, I mean, come on, like, this podcast is truly created for episodes like this one. So I hope you're excited to get into the energy of October with me today. And I hope that this episode gets you ready for a very mystical, very magical, transformative month that we have ahead here and gives you lots of actionable guidance for the fall season. So without further ado, let's get into it. And by the way, I also just have to say, if you missed it in one of my last episodes, we are offering a very special opportunity here at Emily the Mystic. If you enjoy this podcast and love the show and listen to every episode, please give the show a 5-star rating on whatever podcast host you listen to, Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. And send us a screenshot to teamemilythemystic@gmail.com. We will send you a coupon code for a free month of the Emily the Mystic membership that is jam-packed with workshops, videos, so much information, meditations, lots of great things in there, a really great community of like-minded spiritual souls. So I would love to have you experience the membership, even for just a month. You can always cancel, but I hope you'll stay because I think you'll enjoy it. So send that screenshot of your podcast review to teamemilythemystic@gmail.com. The information will be below in the show notes, and we'll get you that free month of the membership on us. So with that being said, I always like to start these energy forecast podcast episodes with a couple of quick personal and business updates so that you know where I am in terms of my personal frequency, my personal growth journey. So as I'm filming and recording this episode, it is the last week of September, specifically September 23rd. So I don't know exactly what's going to be happening yet during the month of October, but I will say that I just feel like time is moving very quickly. I know I mentioned that when I filmed the September energy forecast, and I still feel like time has been moving so fast. I'm like, what have I created, or what have I moved through? What has occurred for me or come up since the last episode? And truly, I feel like for me personally, it has been such a beautiful journey of really just owning myself, owning my gifts, owning my work as a spiritual business owner, spiritual practitioner, Akashic Records expert, and getting ready for a whole new cycle in this business. I'm really excited for some of the things that I have coming down the pipeline for you over the next couple of months. We're gearing up for the next round of the Akashic Records certification as I film this, which starts tomorrow. And that mentorship just brings me so much joy. I love teaching so much. It is one of my favorite things that I do in life, one of the reasons why I'm on this planet. So I'm just so excited to continue to teach
will be teaching you some new and exciting things. More on that in just a moment. So for me, the month of September has really been about that. And it's also been about cultivating more balance. I'm really starting to notice for myself personally where I'm a little bit off balance in terms of my commitments, my boundaries, where I'm spending my time and my energy. So this month has really been about kind of reining that in and doing my best to show up in a healthier way for myself, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, making sure that I'm spending enough time and energy and even financial resources on my own personal journey. I just wrapped up a whole mentorship around the nervous system that I spoke about in September. And that has really helped me know that if I am here to have this big purpose, to do this work, to support the amount of people that I'm here to support, that I really need to make sure that I am also taking care of my energy, that I am taking care of my nervous system, that I am doing what I need to do on a daily basis and a weekly basis to come into this in a really beautiful energy from a beautiful, stable foundation. So if you are a new business owner or you're trying to grow your business, it's really important for you to make sure that you are focusing on yourself and your self-care. And I'm not even a business, even if you're not a business owner, just backing up for a second, if you are a mom or a dad, or you have a big corporate job, or no matter what your career or what you do in life, it's important for all of us to make sure that we continue to focus on ourselves, on your self-care, on your taking care of your energy hygiene, making sure that you are keeping up with your exercise, your self-care routines, things that make you feel good, things that bring you joy. I do want to film a whole episode on what my current routine is and what I do on a day-to-day basis to take care of myself. So that's a whole, hour-long episode for another time. So we'll get into that at another time. But that's really what September has been about for me. It's kind of about been bringing myself back to basics, making sure that I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself on a daily basis so that I can show up and hold the space for you. And it's really expanded me. September was a big month of expansion, expanding my energy, expanding my capacity to hold more, to hold space for you, to hold space for a bigger audience. It's been really cool to see my audience continue to grow, with you included. Of course, I'm so grateful that you're here. And I'm excited for October because I feel like this mystical time of year is just such a cool way to participate in the spiritual space, to be our true selves. I feel like we kind of come out of our coffins at this time of the year as spiritual people. And we're like, we're witches, we're back. Like, we're here. Come on, like, let's gather the coven. Like, let's host the spiritual party. Let's do all of the things. Like, this is the time when we rise from our graves and really like enjoy doing this work. And maybe it's just my perception, but maybe it feels like mysticism is a little bit more acceptable, to the general public at this time of the year. So I really love that. And I'm excited to enjoy it with you as well. In terms of business updates, so first of all, I'm very transparent with you guys. I love to be open and vulnerable with you of what I'm moving through, what I'm working through. And one of the hardest lessons and hardest things that I had to move through in September was, unfortunately, having to cancel the fairy retreat. I know I spoke about that retreat for months here on this podcast, was so looking forward to it, had laid out some beautiful plans for it. A lot of activities were booked, so many things, and it just didn't end up coming together. And my guides just kept telling me, you need to cancel it. You need to cancel it. And I did not want to listen. It's one of those learnings for me as a spiritual person that even I don't want to listen to the spiritual guidance sometimes. And even though my guides were telling me for weeks that I needed to cancel it, I still did not want to listen. So I'm still planning. I've canceled the retreat, but I'm still planning to go to Asheville, North Carolina, because I felt such a deep soul call there for a long time now. So I'm still going to go. My boyfriend, Jack, and I have been dating for almost 9 years now. So we are going to be celebrating our 9-year anniversary. Just so happens that we met on 10/10. So October is our anniversary month. So we're going to be celebrating that together in Asheville. So maybe it ended up needing to be a trip for the two of us to go on together, without it being a group retreat experience. And like I was saying before, one of the big things that I've really been learning is taking responsibility for myself and where I'm giving too much of my energy away to taking responsibility for other people and really calling my energy back, really calling my power back, seeing where my energy has been unbalanced, where my boundaries have been weak or leaking energy. And I feel like if I'm being honest with my capacity is not necessarily at the place where it needs to be to hold space for so many group mentorships, for my audience, for this podcast, and a retreat on top of it. I'm just not there yet, and that's okay. And so I want to share this with you again, honestly and candidly, to help you see that I'm learning a lesson alongside of all of you, and that's something that we could perceive as a failure as a business owner that just didn't work. I am seeing it as divine protection, divine redirection, that this is just not meant to be, and it's okay. And I'm on a different timeline than when I was originally when I planned this retreat. And it's time for me to take a different direction, to take a different path, to let go what's unaligned, and to focus on what is, and to focus on the things that are meant for me, that are right in front of me, and that are falling into place. And that's okay. So anything for you that's not working out, that's being pulled away. For me, this is happening in the midst of eclipse season. We had our first eclipse of the eclipse season in Pisces. And so that Pisces eclipse for me has been all about social groups and friends and clearing away what's not aligned in terms of groups of people. And so, of course, the retreat was one of those things that just had to be taken away from my path, unfortunately. And so with that in mind, I am learning to adjust and learning to let go and learning to focus on what is working and to have gratitude for that instead of wallowing or being sad about it or, comparing myself to other people in the spiritual space. It's a really great opportunity for me to follow that divine redirection, surrender to the path that I'm on. And again, know that the things that are not working out are going to get removed, canceled, rescheduled, whatever it is. So for you, as you're moving through eclipse season, by the way, I'm going to touch on the eclipse that's happening in October in just a moment here. But as we're moving through eclipse season, because eclipse season officially ends with the solar eclipse in Aries on October 2nd. However, in the days following that, you're still going to feel a bit of an integration. You're still going to feel like things are settling, like the dust is settling from this eclipse season. That takes a little bit of time. So know that during the midst of this eclipse season that we're in, even if you're listening to this episode later on in the month of October, I still want you to look back and think to yourself, what was removed from my path? What did the universe get out of the way for me? Where was there divine protection? Where was there something that was not aligned that fell away or that I had to say no to, that I had to cancel, that I had to remove my energy from, that I had to redirect or change or in some way, shape, or form that I thought was going to happen or that I thought was meant for me, maybe during the months of the summer season. And now I realize it wasn't. And now I realize it's been pulled away. And now I'm allowing myself to begin anew after some of those things have been removed from my path. So it's all about our perception of these things. Again, you could perceive that something being removed from your path is negative, but what you can shift your mind to is realizing that it is that divine protection, it is that divine redirection, and you are always exactly where you need to be at any given moment of any given day. So starting off with this final eclipse of eclipse season 2024, this is the last one of the year, you guys, before the next set of eclipses that happens in 2025. So this is happening in the sign of Libra on October 2nd. So this episode will be released on October 2nd. So if you're lucky enough to catch this episode on October 2nd, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. But if not, I want you to still kind of look back towards what was happening for you on or around October 2nd. What was shifting in your life? What were you noticing? What were you observing? Because that's all going to help you see what that eclipse has been all about. So this Libra eclipse is wrapping up a storyline that started in October of 2023. So it's been a year-long storyline. We're ending something. We're coming to completion around something. And ideally, by the full moon in Aries on October 17th, you're going to feel some sort of fresh new energy coming in. Like we're finally bringing this sort of saga that's been unfolding for you for the last year to completion. We're finally moving on from it. We're finally cutting those ties and wiping our hands clean and saying goodbye to whatever that saga was. So for me personally, it is super clear. In October of 2023, I began a very long journey of learning that in the past, the old Akashic Records system that I was teaching with an old mentor of mine was no longer in alignment for me. So I started to become aware that it was time for me to let that go, to leave that community, and to start teaching my own system of the Akashic Records, to build my own community around the Akashic Records. So I became aware that I had to let that go. I made the necessary decisions and took the action that I needed to do to let that go fully, then to begin anew, to create my own system, to fully channel that from scratch, to start teaching people in my community. And now it's been a year of that journey, and I am teaching my third round of students, and it's the biggest round of students yet, which is so exciting. So I know that saga is fully wrapping up, that storyline. I've learned the lesson. I've made it work. I've made it happen. I've built the community. It's complete in the way that it needs to be for now. And of course, it's going to continue to evolve, right? But at least that old storyline of that old community that I was part of and that old part of my business, it's gone. It's done. The door is closed. Like the energetic protection has been set up around that. And I fully have all of my energy in the new, which is my own Akashic Records mentorship. So for you, you may want to take a look back at what was happening for you at this time of year last year. Where were you? What were you doing? What was going on in your life? What were the themes? What were you navigating? And is there a way that you can connect the dots with what was happening a year ago to where you are now to fully bring that sort of completion, or at least come to a sense of understanding of how that storyline has come to maybe an ending or a point of closure, or maybe you have healed a part of yourself, or you've come to a new realization about yourself and your own journey, and now you are ready to move on to the next thing, whatever that is for you. So just kind of being aware of that storyline and how that is moving through you, coming up for you. What I was being shown at the very beginning of channeling this energy forecast, which by the way is all channeled through the Akashic Records, of course, the first visual that I was shown was a phoenix. The phoenix is the energetic frequency that represents this month of October. We are quite literally phoenixes rising from the ashes during this month. So you are rising from those ashes. That perhaps that was something related to a storyline again that happened to you beginning at this time last year. Perhaps that's other small events or things that have happened in this eclipse season this year. Maybe that's a relationship or a group of people or some sort of way that your life has evolved or changed, your lifestyle, the people you surround yourself with, the jobs that you're a part of, the work that you do, the activities that you participate in your life, maybe even your health. Maybe you've been on a big health journey. There's something that we're just, and maybe it's all areas of your life, but we're rising from those ashes. We're rising from that grief, that healing, that deep transformation, being in the void. We are coming out of that this month. So if you feel like you have been in the midst of it, you have been in the deepest dark depths of the underworld, in context of the underworld representing maybe a hardship or a challenging time of your life or a really hard month or a hard few months, or it's just been a challenging season of your life, this month of October gives us the opportunity to rise from that. And they were showing me a second visual that followed that visual of the phoenix, of a child holding a suitcase, looking off into the future, into the unknown, with just excitement and anticipation and like wondering of what's next. So that's where we're moving into this month. That child represents all of us being a beginner in some way, being new, being reborn anew. Almost like, I don't know if you ever did this as a kid, but I feel like all of us in some way have had that moment in childhood where you, and it depends on what your circumstances were and what was going on in your life, but I feel like the collective sort of story that a lot of us have been through is we have that moment where we're like, I want to run away from home. Like, I want to run away from home. You get your little pink backpack or suitcase, or maybe it wasn't pink, but you know what I mean. You get your little backpack, your little suitcase, and you pack it up with your teddy bear and a couple your toys and a couple belongings, because you don't really know how to pack because you're a child. And you're like, I am leaving. And then you march out of the house. And then, of course, your mom comes and pulls you back in. But that childlike energy of, I'm ready for a new adventure. Like, I'm going to go off into the woods behind my house and I'm going to find what's there. And I know there are mystical creatures waiting for me there. And I'm excited for that journey and I'm excited for that adventure. That's what this month is all about, is you being in that beginner's mind, you being that child again on this new journey. So maybe that old stuff that's been cleared away from you, those endings, those things that you've let go of, maybe you're moving into this new phase where you get to be a kid again. You get to have joy about something. It feels so fresh. It feels so new. Maybe that's a new relationship or a new friendship, or you're working on building your business and you're so excited about it, or you're taking a new class, or you are traveling or moving and you're really starting fresh. There's sort of this new journey that's unfolding for I would say all of us. So for you, that could be more internal. Maybe you're realizing a new part of yourself. You're coming into kind of a new version of self. And maybe it's external. Maybe it is a physical new journey that you're embarking on. I know for me, I'm doing quite a bit of travel this month, not just Asheville. I'm also going to be going to the West Coast. So I've got a lot of things going on. And I really feel like that kid packing my suitcase. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I've got my plans, but who knows what's going to happen? And I'm like totally open to it. I'm totally open to the adventure and what's in store. So there's this like hopeful energy, this hopeful quality to it, this openness that comes from the rebirth. Sometimes, so by the way, in the cycles of life, rebirth always follows a death, right? Rebirth always follows an ending. And sometimes that rebirth, we can kind of go into it with just sort of like this sour energy of like, you know, I feel wronged. I feel like I don't have closure over the situation. I still have grief that I'm moving through. I feel like this beginning that we're moving into is hopeful. It is inspiring. It is uplifting. So if you still feel like you're holding on to something, you're just stuck in the past, you're wallowing, and maybe the way that people treated you or the way that even you handled things, and you're holding grudges against yourself or others, the guides are saying it's time to let it go. Because you are the only person, the only thing holding you back from that new beginning that you want. But it has to start with you. It has to start from within. And if you're not letting yourself release the past, then you're not going to have the space and the openness for the new adventure, for the new journey. So it has to start with you. Someone needed to hear that today. So I hope that message resonated with you, perhaps with everyone. So all of that being said, I really feel like we're going to feel that sense of newness and in that sense of that phoenix being reborn as we get closer to the end of October, especially around that Aries full moon. And maybe that full moon will be quite emotional because you're celebrating the fact that you've been on this big journey and there have been things that ended and now you're ready for the new thing, the new beginning of sorts, the new season of life. So always make sure to celebrate everything that even the little things, even the daily things, to have gratitude for the things that have worked out, for what you have created, for even just moving through the hard emotions that come up, to celebrate yourself for that. Because that can feel really good and can always help you move forward. So the other thing too that was really coming up is that because many of you feel like you are moving through perhaps a big season of healing, a big season of going inwards, of focusing on your inner journey, of letting things go, doing the inner work, doing the shadow work. And maybe that's coming up for you this month. Maybe there is an element of doing the shadow work, doing the inner work. Maybe you're kind of getting back into your inner routines after a busy summer season, after, being more external with your energy. Maybe you are moving your energy to a more internal focus where you're focusing more on yourself. So you may feel like you are moving through some inner work, some healing, some grief, some heavy emotions that come up. And what they were recommending was that I had several divine dark goddesses step forward to support in that journey. So specifically, Hecate, Persephone, Lilith, Isis came forward for me to tell you that they are here for you, to support you in that growth journey, in that deep, I kind of call it an underworld journey. Not that you're necessarily going to the underworld in your inner work, maybe you are, but more from a perspective of like the underworld represents the shadow, the healing, the intensity, the grief, the heavy emotions, the darkness of the self. So maybe you are moving through that big shadow work and you need support. And who's here to support you but these beautiful divine dark goddesses? They are so, I'm getting the chills as I say this, like they are so present. They're so here for you. And I think they're so very often misunderstood because a couple of different things. Number one, of course, our society paints the picture that these divine dark goddesses are bad or evil or unsafe. And therefore we have fear of them. We don't want to take a look at that. We're afraid of working with them. And I also feel too that in some spiritual communities, we're given this impression that working with some of these powerful divine dark goddesses is going to be like hard work, or that we have to do things in a specific way. We have to have these specific rituals with them. They're very demanding, like all of these things. And that's not been personally my experience. I have been met with such love by these divine dark goddesses whenever I've worked with them. They're always here to support me. And it's not a continuous thing that you need to, you invite them in once and you always have to meet with them like daily. Maybe they'll ask of that for you. But for me personally, they're always here when I need them. And I can always pick up the phone, the metaphorical telephone, and call them and ask for their support. So maybe if you have not worked with a divine dark goddess yet, you may be called to do that this month. Again, Hecate, Lilith, Persephone, and Isis were the ones that were coming forward for me. But there are, of course, lots of other goddesses out there. So you may be met with someone who is here for you, someone who wants to work with you. The Morrigan is another one that comes to mind. Again, there are a lot of divine dark goddesses. And so setting the intention to be open to working with them, learning about them through doing your research, checking out the YouTube videos, listening to the podcasts, and then setting the intention to call forward the one or ones that you want to work with in meditation, and using your discernment, using proper spiritual protection can be a beautiful way to begin that relationship so that they can support you with what you are moving through. You are not alone. You do not need to go through this journey alone. So having that spiritual support can be massive. So don't hesitate to call them forward if you need that help. I certainly will be doing that this month for sure. Because another thing that it's really important for me to mention is that because it's Halloween, also known in terms of the seasons of the year holidays as Samhain. Because it's Halloween, this split brings up in the collective consciousness, of course, the media and the portrayal of witches and covens and spooky things and, all the horror movies out there and all of the mystical things out there and Harry Potter and all of it. And with that, and of course, I love me some Harry Potter. I love me some Hocus Pocus. I love me some Halloween Town. I am all about the Halloween movies. I love it. And the collective consciousness is also bumping up against the witch wound at this time of the year. So a part of yourself, especially if you haven't done a lot of work yet around healing your witch wound or taking a look at your witchy past lives, taking a look at where you were persecuted or harmed or even killed for being a witch or a spiritual healer in a past lifetime, this time of year may bring up some crunchy energy. It may bring up some discomfort. It may bring up some unknowns. And so with that being said, for some of you this month with your shadow work may be focused around your witch wound. You will know it. You will feel it as you're listening to this episode, whether that's something you need to focus on or not. I will tell you, I have done a ton of work around my witch wound. I've been shown many lifetimes as a witch, as a healer, or even someone doing ritual magic that got the best of me or that went terribly wrong, and where I'm still navigating, or I shouldn't say still, but in the past have navigated karmic implications because of that. So for you, especially if you are on the entrepreneurship journey, you want to get seen for doing your spiritual work, and you're having a hard time feeling like you're visible or gaining traction with your visibility and being seen for doing this work, there may be an element of your witch wound that still needs some love, that still needs some healing. So, of course, this is something you can tackle in your Akashic Records if you know how to do that. For my Akashic Records people out there, you can go into your own records and ask to be shown a past life connected to your witch wound. If that's not available to you, if you join my Emily the Mystic membership, I have a whole witch wound workshop. It's about 2 hours long with a ton of information, including a past life meditation that takes you through all of this step by step. So I would encourage you to join the membership or purchase the workshop separately. I will leave the link below in the show notes. And that is going to give you more information on this topic to help you with the healing work around it. I would also recommend, because the veil between us and the spirit world is very, very thin at this time of the year, which means that we can access our loved ones on the other side, our ancestors, our spirit guides, ascended masters, the divine dark goddesses. We can access these guides more easily. But that also means that we need to have strong spiritual protection in place in order to make sure that we are using our discernment and connecting with beings of the highest vibration of love and light. So in that, and with that being said, you need to be careful and use caution when connecting with the spiritual realm to make sure that you are not walking home with entity attachments and malevolent things in your energy field. So with that in mind, if you feel like there's something weird going on in your energy field, I'm going to leave a link below in the show notes for my deep aura clearing meditation. It's $22. It is an easy win meditation that you can do on yourself to receive a deep energetic cleanse that will be very helpful for you if you feel like you need that. And of course, for any bigger spiritual work, I am here for you to schedule a session with me. My schedule is just very crazy this month of October, so you may not be able to get on my calendar until November. However, I still have this meditation available to you. I have an entity workshop in the membership available. I've got the witch wound workshop. I've got a lot of resources for you so that you can do this work on your own if you feel like you're moving through a lot during this season of the year. So make sure that you are properly protecting yourself with a white force field shield of light, and that you are clearing your energy field, cutting cords with the people in your life, letting go of any collective fear, just making sure that you are recognizing your energy when your energy is your own, obviously. But when your energy has been influenced, infiltrated by other energy that is not yours, that is when you make that distinction, you're like, there's something in here that's not mine. That's when you know you need to do the meditation or do one of my workshops in order to get your energy field back to a baseline state. So with that in mind, with the veil being thin between us and the spirit world, take some time to connect. Take some time to do your spiritual practices. Take some time for the meditation, taking a look at your past lives, maybe even taking a new spiritual course, as that can be just such a really cool thing to do at this time of the year. If you would like to join me in a new mentorship, I have 2 coming up in the month of October. We are going to be starting light language lessons the last week of October, as well as my new Galactic Akashic Records course for Akashic Records practitioners that will also be starting at the end of the month. For those of you who want to go deeper into your galactic journey, your starseed journey, learn more about your cosmic and galactic lifetimes, I will be training Akashic practitioners on how to do that for yourself and others. So I will leave the link for that below in the show notes as well, and information on how to join light language. So if you want to take a mystical course, we've got lots of things available for you here at Emily the Mystic. And pay attention to your dreams. This month of October, pay attention to your dreams. We're moving into this new energy, right? And in order to do that, the subconscious mind during the night is going to be clearing and purging and healing things. So you may, if you start to pay attention to your dreams, notice themes of what your subconscious mind is navigating this month. I have been noticing with eclipse season that the dream state has been very active, very vivid for me in particular. I have set the intention to remember my dreams. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm trying to get into the habit of immediately writing down any details that I remember for those dreams. Not only does this help me with remembering my dreams in general, but overall it helps me build the muscle of dream recall, which strengthens my ability to remember my dreams overall. So if I'm waking up in the morning, immediately writing down my dreams and trying to remember them, it helps me build that muscle of remembering them every single night, which is so powerful and so helpful because the subconscious mind is doing that work in the nighttime. And so it can show us and paint the way for themes that we are working on healing. So if you're not quite sure what's kind of coming up for you or what needs work or support, pay attention to your dreams, write them down. One really cool hack that I have found is if you are open to using the Chat GPT AI software, it's free. If you go into Chat GPT, make an account, and there's a little chat box that comes up, you can type in there, please analyze and interpret my dream, and then copy and paste your dream journal or type out what you remember from your dream, hit enter, and then see what comes up. I have found that it is spookily, eerily accurate. Very, very helpful for dream interpretation. Very, very interesting. So for me, I was noticing that my dreams were containing a lot of the same themes and symbolism, specifically related to the weight of responsibility that I hold on my shoulders, especially when it comes to social circles and people in my life. So with that in mind, now knowing that that's something that I'm really going to be working through during the month of October, I am doing what I can to support myself in that healing process. So one thing that you can do, if this is helpful for you, I am obsessed with the product called Alexa's Smart Flower Remedies. My clients know I talk about these all the time because they work. And I'm not affiliated with them, but I love their product because I've been using it for years and it works for me. It is a flower essence that works on a vibrational level to heal and clear things from your energy field, to push things away, and to help prepare your energy field for something new. I highly can attest that I believe one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to grow my Instagram platform and to grow the amount of followers that I have on social media is by using the Alexa Smart Remedy Wallflower for 2 months straight. That did wonders for me with healing my social anxiety, with opening my field to support more people, and to growing my capacity to hold space for others. So now that I know from my dream state that, whoa, like I can see where I am holding on to a lot of stress from the responsibility that I carry on my shoulders, there's an Alexa Smart Remedy specifically called Unburden for stress management. So I have purchased that. I'm waiting for it to arrive in the mail, and I am going to be using that daily to support my own practices, my own healing journey during the month of October. So I highly recommend using your dreams to kind of figure out what's kind of going on in your life if it's not immediately obvious, and then picking a flower remedy that matches your symptoms and taking that during the month of October. It will do wonders for you. Trust me on this one. I will leave the link for Alexa Smart in the show notes. So with all of that being said, there could be a lot coming up for you, a lot going on for you. The guides were reminding me at the end of this to remind you to do small things this month that bring you joy. Yes, we have to make time for the shadow work and the healing work and focusing on your inner journey. And also make time to go pick out a pumpkin if that brings you joy. Make time to get the pumpkin spice latte if that brings you joy. Make time to watch Hocus Pocus if that brings you joy. All of those little small things. I love the fall seasonal things. I love the activities. I love the Halloween. I love all of it. And I love when I incorporate little things like that into my day-to-day life. It brings me so much happiness and fun, and it's just so rewarding. So make sure to do the little fun things. It's okay to do them. Listen, I'm going to be having a delicious apple cider margarita here and there this month. I'm going to be enjoying all of the cozy season things, all of the fall vibes, all of the mystical activities. So I would invite you to do the same with me. Now, I would love to end this episode, like we did for the September energy forecast, by giving you a personal message. So we're going to do the same thing that we did in September. If you didn't listen to September's forecast, it's all good. I'm going to fill you in with the instructions right here, right now. So you're going to get a personal message for some themes to expect during the month of October. With that in mind, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 colors. You get to pick a color from the 3 colors that I'm about to share. Use your intuition. Don't pick a color that you like. Pick a color that you are drawn to. Then I'm going to share with you your message for the month of October based on the color that you choose. And if you want to listen to this energy forecast more than once, you might want to come back, re-listen to it, pick another color, and see what message you get next. All right. So with that being said, the 3 colors are orange, red, purple. Orange, red, purple. So pick your color. And today, we will be working with the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle, because Mabon is the fall equinox, and it is the day after the fall equinox as I am filming this episode, and I love these cards because they have a fall theme. So with each color, I'm going to share with you the corresponding card. You're going to get your message, and it's going to be great. All right, here we go. So if you chose the color orange, this card, my friends, is a little creepy and a little mystical, but I love it. You got the Reaper card, the Reaper card number 32. Reaper. You're watching this on YouTube. I have the video in front of you. The Reaper card says, for the birth of something new to manifest, the death of something holding you back is inevitable. So for those of you who chose that orange card, this Reaper message is telling you that something is being removed from your path, something is ending, or something perhaps has ended recently. And so I'm sure a lot of the messages in this episode resonated with you about that. So the keywords for this card are endings, sudden change, and unhealthy attachments. So here we go. And I'm just going to read to you what it says here, and then I'll give you my interpretation. So your higher self chose this card because sometimes life can be cruel and doesn't give you time to prepare for the end of something meaningful. Even if you saw the signs and knew it was coming, it can still feel like an unexpected shock when you reach the end of a road. Perhaps your desire to hold on too tightly is what was leaving you anyway, is why rebirth, I'm going to reread that again. Perhaps your desire to hold on too tightly is what was leaving you anyway. That doesn't make sense. Whoever wrote this. Okay, I'm just going to give my summation of this card because the grammar in here is not great. All right, starting again. So this card is all about endings, letting something go, having something removed from your path, releasing something from your field. And this Reaper card is here to do the heavy lifting, to remove something from your path that is not aligned for you, because the universe knows this wasn't a choice you may have made for yourself, but it is for your highest and greatest good. You may have been stuck in a situation that was not healthy for you, and so the Reaper has stepped in on your behalf to remove something that is no longer working or supportive for your highest and greatest good. It might not seem like it, but this card appearing represents the beginning of a much better life and situation moving forward. You might pray for something, set your intentions, and do your spells, hoping a magnificent dream will drop into your lap, but big dreams require big changes. So in order to grow, this card is helping remove anything from your life that is holding you back. While even if your circumstances feel uncomfortable, this is bringing you one step closer to your goals that are patiently waiting for you to evolve so that you have everything you need to ensure success. So if you find yourself facing the end of something, whether that be a relationship or a situation, know that any unhealthy attachments will be removed from your path. If you have received this card about your future, it's confirming that something in your life is coming to a needed end. So for you, dear listener, if you've gotten this message, know that something is coming to a conclusion. And with that, I want you to remember everything that came forward in this episode, that this death brings about a rebirth in your life. Like you are the phoenix rising from the ashes. You are here for something new. You are here for a new path. You are here to be that little kid with the suitcase on a new journey. So let it fall. Let whatever is not needed fly away from you. Let it go. And I'm excited to see how you are reborn at the end of this month. All right. If you selected the color red, the card that you have received is the Coven card. Coven. Ooh, witchy. Got some witches on this card. Coven. Keywords: family, community, raised power. Your higher self chose this card because it's a positive one for achieving goals that involve many people. One person is powerful on their own, but may lack certain skills or knowledge that another can easily fulfill. Consider seeking a partner or partners to aid in your quest if you have not already. The collective power of your partnership or team will catapult and hasten your success. Also, if you've been struggling to do tasks that do not come naturally to you, you may consider seeking help from someone who has expertise in this area. It could be time to expand your business family by hiring a new employee or giving an existing one additional duties that are suited to their talents. If this card represents love, this can mean sharing activities with your family and learning from each other in the process. You may ask your kids or partner to show you more about some of their interests, as taking an active role in the interests of those you love will contribute to more connection, understanding, and support, and represents a different way to show that you care. This can also mean, what I'm being shown, is this can also mean connection with friendship. More like-minded people coming into your life, finding your coven, finding a connection with like-minded people, feeling more community support, and not letting yourself be isolated. Finding that group, that community of like-minded souls who can support you on this journey is what I'm being shown for those of you who selected the color red. And finally, for the color purple, we have the Queen of the Dead card. Queen of the Dead. Love these spooky messages. Queen of the Dead. Keywords: embracing your dark side, naughtiness, and using darkness for good. I love that. Your higher self chose this card because you need to learn to be unafraid of your soul's darker side. There is a deep power within you that may feel would be scary or too much to handle if you unleashed it. Perhaps you fear what you might become if you were seduced by the shadowy aspects of your soul. Would you become too ambitious and power hungry or sacrifice your beliefs in pursuit of fame and fortune? Would you hurt people or forget your roots? Would you succumb to anger and find yourself difficult to get along with? These are all, of course, valid fears, but they shouldn't prevent you from integrating both sides of your spiritual being. Queen of the Dead is tempting you to explore and use darkness for good. Rather than viewing negative emotions and shadows as being bad, see them as opportunities for evolution and growth. These energies can be useful, and your willingness to work with these energies rather than against your demons is key for showing them the way to the light. So for those of you who selected purple and got this card, I would say definitely recommend that you connect with those divine dark goddesses that I mentioned earlier in this episode. I feel like that for you, connection with your shadows, your intuition, the darker side of your gifts, your witchier side, I feel like that's what's really being called forward for you right now. And to not be afraid of that, because that can be a really powerful way for you to learn more about yourself, especially because as we are moving in to the second half of October into Scorpio season, Scorpio is all about mysticism. It's all about that darker side, that depth, that magical quality. And so going into that energy, that unknown, can be really, really powerful. So I highly recommend that you take time for maybe diving into the mystical side more of the spiritual space, whatever that your intuition is leading you towards or whatever you feel called to do, including connecting with those divine dark goddesses. I'm excited to see what you find on that journey. So there you have it. There's your October energy forecast. Remember that we are rising from the ashes this month. Remember, there is some shadow work involved. Remember that we are these new beginners on this new journey. Remember, it's a very mystical time of the year. We are moving from Libra season, which is all about balance, into Scorpio season, which is all about mysticism. So it's a time to honor your shadow side. It's a time to honor your witchier side, your mystical wisdom that you have within you, and to not be afraid of it. To allow yourself to go into the depths of your shadow and to know that that side of yourself holds so much wisdom. So parts of yourself that you may have considered dark or unacceptable or not good enough, it's time for you to embrace them this month because they have so much to teach you. And it's going to allow you to embark on such a beautiful, exciting, magical journey during this month of October. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to see what mystical things lie ahead for us here at the Emily the Mystic show and in the Emily the Mystic world. And make sure to check out the show notes for all of the links that I shared in this episode. And of course, don't forget to rate this show wherever you listen to your podcast in order to get a free month of the membership. Sending you love. Enjoy this mystical month, and I'll see you in the next episode.